Hey, we're recording. It's Monday, October 26th, my advanced class. We're going to get through some things today. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Grades and B points are updated for those of you who are living humans that are there. For those of you who are dead humans who are at home, it is updated on Skyward and stuff like that. Although for the most part, it was just those of you who did well on the quiz that was put on there, and then the IXL and stuff like that. Go on, and then IXL, we covered that one. It is now late. There is a new IXL coming up this week, but again, I think it's one that a lot of you guys are going to get out of because I think the quiz this week is not going to be super difficult. So fingers crossed that you guys are going to do really well on it. And speaking of the quiz from before, I'm going to do speedy version to run through it real quick because I added something new. So I'm going to try it out with you guys. But most of you guys did pretty well on the quiz, so I'm not super worried about it. But the handful of kids who did not do well or did not turn it in, I'm going to record the answers so they get a chance to at least try to get to that 22. But I don't want to spend long on it because I've got a sort of entertaining thing to get to today. So this is just to be nice to the kids who did not do well. But the new thing, blah, 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 I don't care about that. You can still turn it in and get a 20. If you are one of the kids who bombed it and you want to get a higher grade, you can get up to a 22. If you're one of those kids who did not turn it in at all, then pay attention. And then when you turn it in, you'll get a 22 to try and help you out also. Hopefully you read the Charles story. It'll make things a lot easier as far as the whole quiz went. Here's the new thing I added to it. So in a second, I went through and looked up how well you guys did on each question. Apparently Canvas will tell me how many kids got each question correct. So I can give you the percentage of how well you guys did on each question. And so I found out the worst we did was a 70% on a question. And the best we did was there's one question that every single kid got correct. So here's going to be my question when we get to it. I'm going to see if you guys can figure out which question you think was the toughest one and which one you think was the easiest one. When we get to it, I'll be asking you guys each time, like, is this the question? If you guys are like, yes, I just want to see it's my first game to entertain myself. If you guys can figure out which was the really tough question and which was the really easy question. So which question did we all get 100% on? And then which question was only like 3/4 of you guys got? All right. So the black cat, which is the following examples are a strong example of foreshadowing in the stork. Let's go back and randomly pick on kids because it's been way too long since I had a chance to. Rutsito, because here's the part where I get to yell at you guys. You have to quickly unmute yourself because then when you take time to slap yourself in the face, Rutsito, instead of unmuting yourself, okay, me like I'm the crazy one. Hi, Rutsito. By the way, if you don't have the notes thing, for those of you who are here, if you don't remember things, you're welcome to use the notes thing. So if you have the notes thing, by the way, Rutsito, the question I'm getting ready to ask you is not on the screen, just so that you're aware of it. I'm going to ask you a different question, just so you're aware of things.
Okay.
But you guys can use this if you want. As I continue to torture Rutsito, this sheet, the old one that talked about the exposition and irony and foreshadowing and stuff like that, don't get rid of it because we're going to continue to use it on upcoming quizzes and stuff like that. Even though we're moving on from short stories and going on to poetry now, this can still come in handy. I'm still going to give you questions about irony and exposition as they apply to new things. If you keep this old sheet, you get to use it on all future quizzes and tests and stuff like that. If you throw it away, you're out of luck. So holding on to it makes your life much easier. All right, that was a lot of babbling, Rutsito. Here's your question, Valerie. What was foreshadowing? Just the generic definition of it.
Clues that leads up in the story.
That was all I needed from you, Valerie. I just wanted to torture you for a long time because it brought me happiness. Thanks to them. So on this one, the foreshadowing in the story was that the speaker uses an axe from the basement. There was no foreshadowing in that one. So this was the one where it just basically was he picked up an axe, killed her, and that was just a random statement in there. Trying to think how I want to do this as far as the tough one or easy one. As an example, this one, 80% of you guys got correct. So like 1 out of every 5 kids got this answer wrong. So I'm just going to give you guys a heads up as we go through. Keep your eyes open for the one you think is the super easy or the super tough one. All right, let's go to what is the final intro? Rye, let's pick on you. What happens to the wife in the story? axe to the brain. And then right before she got the axe to the brain, what decision does she have to make before she meets the axe?
Stop her husband. Or let him.
Nicely done. So that was the very last thing that happens in the story. Stop, or for her, stop her husband, or let him hunt the cat. Does anyone want to go and say this is the toughest or the easiest question yet? No. All right. 98%. So almost the easiest question. This was the second easiest question apparently on the entire quiz at 98%. I have a fun with this. Let's go with Black Cat. When we discover the speed of items, what happens? So you had to figure out which of the different elements this connected to. And this would be the main character telling us what is happening. So we're seeing things through his eyes, which should be point of view. Ooh, so let's do this one. So for those of you at home, so you get a chance to play my game also, let's go with 90%. So on this question, give me thumbs up if you think the average is above 90%, or a thumbs down if you say it's below 90%. Another my fun game. So on this one, you think our average was above or below 90%? And let's go with 89%. So we were just below it on that one. Ooh, what a fun way of playing this. All right, let's go to question 4. In the story, the speaker tells us how much of an animal lover he is, how he goes out of his way, and at the end of the story, one leap. So it's the opposite of what he expects. What do we call it when it's the opposite of what you expect? Yeah, I tried to make it pretty straightforward. Irony. All right, higher or lower than 90%? And, ooh, kids, let's go with 98%. Nicely done on that one. So anytime we get 98%, that means one kid missed it. Essentially, each kid was roughly 2%. So if one kid missed it, that means only one person was off. 5. In the story, we realize that the narrator has been insane and the cat is obviously haunting him. He then grabs an axe. This would be the story mountain, where it gets to the most exciting part. And what's the most exciting part called? Nicely done. So it should be, wait, all right. And make sure I'm not messing you guys up. It's not that, not that, not that, all right. And so it should be that top climax part. Now this one was kind of tough because some kids might have chosen the rising action, even though I tried to make it as much as climax. All right, so 90%, you're gonna go higher, lower, and ooh, you guys are saying this was a tough one. Let's go with 98%. Only one kid. You guys all thought that was a tough one? One kid missed that, and that was it. You guys were bad at this. This is a tough question game. From the story you had to read called The Landlady, what was the point of view? So was it first or third? Third. Following? All right. So are you saying it is omniscient or limited? So third limited, following the landlady? All right. I would agree. All right. So our 90% on this one, higher or lower than 90? Ooh, let's see. And 86%. We did a little bit tougher on that one. I don't know. Nice one. I would say nicely done, but a lot of you guys seem to not get that part correct. You got the question right, just not whether how tough it was. Which of these would not be a good example of irony in The Landlady? Let's see. Ooh, all right. So on that one, Billy thinks of himself as lucky at the low price. Was he lucky?
No.
No, that was ironic. Billy not worrying about being hurt. Was she off her rocker?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Were the animals a good sign? No. Billy thinking, does he know the names in the book? So I would say that one. All right. Are we going for 90? Above or below 90? And ooh, tough thing. You're saying below. They're all saying below 90 on this one. Diane, 70%. This was the lowest gotten correct question on the entire quiz. This is the one the most kids missed of all of them. I agree. Wow. I don't know. Yeah. 1 out of every 4 kids got this question wrong. All right, let's try 8. Let's see, which of these would not be a good example of foreshadowing? We already picked on Valerie, so we're not going to pick on Valerie again. The stuffed dachshund's name is Basil. Does that tell us anything later in the story?
Nope.
All right. The tea has a bitter almond taste. Does that tell us anything?
Yep.
Which is what?
Silent.
All right. When the landlady stresses that Billy signed the register, why? He needs to remember his name, and that there's fact there's no other coats in the closet. Yes, they are. So the stuffed dachshund's name is Basil has nothing. All right. Let's go back to our 90% game. Higher or low? No, Talbot feels strong on this one. And ooh, are you guys saying this is?
Actually, might be the one over here.
Are you going? This is the 100%?
Yeah.
No. All right. They're saying they think this is the 100% one. Is that? No, no. Ooh, Talbot says yes. Ledford says go with 100%. That was the one that every single kid got correct on the quiz. Nicely done. All right, so now we've had the lowest and the highest. Now we're all in the middle. Let's see, which of the following internal conflicts has the least? The reason it has the least impact is it never happens in the story at all. We don't even know if it exists. So which one would it be? It's correct. For all we know, Gregory Temple never made that decision, and Gregory Temple was like, bed and breakfast, booyah, I'm there, and went straight for it. So the porter, he definitely recommends someplace. Landlady, I mean, she's definitely gonna have to kill him or not. And then Billy, well, that was really obvious. All right, so on this one, 90%, higher or lower? And ooh. Let's go with 82%, one of our lowest ones we had. Wow. I said one of the lowest. 70 was the lowest. And then we had like one at like 78, and we had a couple at 82s, and then most of them are higher than that. So now all from Charles. When does Larry's mom realize the truth about Charles? Parker? At the very end of the parent-teacher meeting, when she then gets confronted and then finds out. So again, on our 90%, higher or lower? And ooh, you're singing. Well, that might be the trick. Did they read the story? Parker has no faith in humans. And they're all saying lower. And then, all right, we'll go with 95%. Almost every kid got this right except for 2. Shocking. I know. And then let's see, why does Larry, at the beginning of it, when she asks who's the kid that's getting the issues, he pauses right before he comes up with the answer. Why does he pause? Because he's lying to his mother, as every kid does, so he can make up a name. All right. All right. So they're giving
Mr.
home
Brovia.
children. Yes.
I was just gonna say, after like looking back when we were talking about this in class, you said most of the answers.
What? Are you saying I try to help children who pay attention? That's ridiculous. I would
Yeah,
never
it
do
surprised
that.
me.
I know. I actually do that like all the time. It's my way of trying to be nice to the good kids. Stop paying attention, Carson. This is school. All right. So are we going higher or lower on this one? Higher. And 91. Barely made that one, but you made it. All right. And let's see. Which part of the story mountain would it be when we were told that the speaker's son is in kindergarten? Ooh. So this would be the nicely done. Very beginning of the story and exposition. And we do I'm watching my home children who are just staring at me blankly. You bunch of never mind. A handful of you guys are playing and then you guys are saying. And 89. That was below our 90%. I don't know. Kids are special. Now you understand my frustration teaching and grading all of these. And I'm like, how did you miss this when you got this one correct? He's like, I don't know. I don't pay attention to things. You don't like the fact I put part of it in yellow?
No, I don't mind. That's yellow.
No, that's
Yeah,
yellow.
it's yellow.
I mean, the back right on the B right there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was on accident, so I would agree on that one. That was a fail. I failed you. You drop out of school. It's the best way to solve that
All
one.
right.
13. The last line of the story from Charles. Why is that last line considered ironic?
She was worried about the other kids, but it's
There
actually
you
her
go.
kid.
Her son Larry is the Charles. All right. So in theory, higher or lower than 90% here?
I said lower.
And lower, lower. Valerie, are you saying you're right at 90%, or are you just giving up? Is that what or you're pointing to the kid next to you and just saying I should steal their answer? You guys all say lower. And 98. Only one kid missed this one. Why did you guys all say lower? It was like one of the easiest questions, apparently.
Exposition, it's the first time. That's the most boring. You don't have to read the story to know.
I'm not disagreeing with you. This is what is so tough being a teacher. When I'm like, I write the quiz, I'm like, well, this is an easy one. I'm like, what do you mean 70% of you guys got it? And I'm like, well, this would be the tough one. You're like, we all got it correct. I'm like, ah! And you throw things on. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm glad to see you guys get as frustrated as I do sometimes. Point of view for Charles. I thought this one was a little bit tougher. Now, I don't know what our percentage is. I don't have it memorized. But it'll take you guys a little bit longer to figure out, apparently.
Fourth person.
I know. Without seeing the story in front of you, it starts off with her saying, when my son came home from his first day. So if it says when my son came home, that would make it?
Larry's mom.
There you go. First person Larry's mom, because it opens up with her talking about her son coming home. All right. I thought this was going to be a tough question. Let's find out. So 90%. I know. I'll be honest. I don't know what the percentage is. I don't remember when I wrote it down. So, all right. So you guys are all, that'd be ironic, of course, if I think it was tough. And of course, it goes really well. Elena,
0%.
are you want to go with me? What's up, Elena?
The reason why I have been saying thumbs down so much is because everyone keeps missing the easy ones. So I'm saying thumbs down on the easy ones because they always miss that.
I mean, that seems to make sense. All right. And you guys were doing thumbs up or thumbs down? So you're saying, all right. And 89%. This has been the one time where Valerie's a little sideways. Valerie, you should have gone sideways on that one and you would have been good. Ironically, you finally put your thumb down and then I guess you made it. You just say thumb down and it is at 89%. So I'll give it to that. See, again, I thought that was a tougher one. You guys did all right. And the last question, which of these comparisons of the stories is most incorrect between Landlady and Charles? Do they both have a young male as the main character? Charles, and then the other one, it would be
Have a character we suspect will be dead.
have a character we're going to suspect will be dead soon.
Yeah.
Who's going to
Sam.
die in Landlady? Who's going to die in Charles?
I mean, technically.
No one's gonna die in Charles.
I mean, apparently getting grounded and beaten, I don't think that qualifies as death.
No, it doesn't.
Have a main character lying to another person? Who lies in Landlady? Who lies in
Landlady.
Charles?
Charles.
And then have a theme that deals with trust issues? Well, if we have, I would agree. So having a character we suspect will be dead soon. All right, our last one. Thumbs up, thumbs down. How are we doing with our 90%? Waiting for Elena. Was this an easy one or not an easy one, Elena? All right, and let's go with 75. It was one of the lowest ones, the second lowest score we had on a question. So I know on that one again, the character dying soon. I'm like, why? You should know no one dies in Charles.
I mean, emotionally died. You don't know that. You don't know that this one yet, because at the end of the story, they were in he was in trouble. But his mom, who's some psychopath, it just
I would have you read a story about a psychopath. Ooh, hashtag too soon. Anyway, the percentage thing, I'm going to do that again because that really entertained me. I did not realize that was an option in the whole grading of them. So I started finding them like, ooh. So I started going through and finding out which questions were the tough ones and which ones were the easy ones. And I was also thrown off because the ones that I thought were tough were not tough. And the ones I thought were easy weren't always easy. So I'm like, apparently I have no idea, even though I teach all this information to you. So for me, it was good to see that apparently you guys feel the same way. And you guys had just as tough a time predicting. I was hoping you guys like would nail it every time. You're like, this is the tough one. This is the easy one. This is the tough one. This is the easy one. But every time you guys are like, I have no idea either. So good bonding. Thank you for making me feel better. All right. It was ironic. And now that we got through that, we're going to get a chance to get to our fun stuff. But before we get to fun we have to get to boring So here's step one on boring stuff. Well, not yet. I'm going to give you a piece of paper. Those of you who are the home children, here's where your piece of paper comes in. The one that you printed off and ran to go grab. I'm going to hand out the papers to these kids. I'm going to explain what's going on. Home children, hang on. Living children, here's where your writing utensil comes in. And you know, Nate, since you're no longer working on it, you can't sit down anymore. Or you can keep standing and just there.
Big unit like test?
No.
Like over everything?
No. Normally, yes, but because of COVID, no. I've had to change things a little bit. Rush was asking if we're going to have like a big unit test that covers everything. And most years, yes. But current year, not so much. Hey, random child, what's up?
I hit my hip really hard and now I'm limping everywhere.
What did you hit your hip on?
Don't remember.
Oh my God, was your head inside of there?
Yes.
You know, wait with my home children. Oh, home children. This is just a random kid that walked into my room. I have no idea who she is. You just yell French into my microphone. Yeah. Go away, random child. Hip check another random thing in the hallway. Feels like you gave me attitude.
Hi, Jenna.
I know your parents. Anyway, back to you guys. All right. So now, yes, we're going to deal similes and metaphors. There is every chance you should be smart enough to know all of this, and it's going to be super duper easy. Fingers crossed, that's my goal. Although after going over the quiz, we realized what I think is easy, you guys might disagree with, and what you guys find hard. So we'll see. But regardless, here's the first step. I am giving you the definition for simile and metaphor. What I am doing right now is babbling while you are busy writing those down on this piece of paper because you're so incredibly responsible that you are not just sitting and staring off into space. See how it has spot on there for similes and metaphor? You're going to write down definition of simile is where we compare two nouns or two different nouns by using like or as. So simile, comparing two nouns by using like or as. As in, Avery's shirt is as gray as fog, where I'm comparing a shirt to fog, and I use as to do it. Let's go. Your hair is as pretty as a flower, where I'm comparing your hair to a flower. My room, no, let's go with my room is like a cluttered ADHD kid's mind. Going off of my daughter who has ADHD and has told me that before, where I'm comparing my room to a mind. So it's where you're comparing two things, two nouns, by using like or as. And then a metaphor is where you're going to compare two nouns by saying one is the other one. No like, no as. Just say one is the other thing. You close. You have to make sure you're comparing two nouns. You'd have to say, the spider is an 8-legged tree monkey, where you're comparing a spider to a monkey. Your eyes are dark globes of hatred, where I'm comparing your eyes to hatred. My class is a confusing mess, where I'm comparing my class to a mess, where you just state one thing is the other one. Then you're going to see on there where it says simile examples and metaphor examples. You are going to write 2 similes and 2 metaphors of your own. Elena, there's a good chance those things might be what we call synonyms. I appreciate your sass as you try to attack me on that one. When you say their minds aren't messy, they're just chaotic. I think that's the same excuse my daughter uses for her room. When she's like, Dad, my room's not messy. Everything's just in chaotic motion. I'm like, it's just sitting there. You can't see the motion. I'm like, I don't think that's how it works. Right, Sito, are you feeling bad because I've not yelled at you in like 10 minutes? And you're like, Mr. Broviak, you've not yelled at me. So Rutsito, you raised your hand, Rutsito. Why are you not unmuting and just shaking your head like I'm a crazy one? What's up?
So I was just wondering, like, the examples you were just saying, what were we supposed to write down?
No, you're writing your own examples. So where it says the examples, it literally says it on the screen in giant letters. I know. Let me imitate. Correct. Yes, I am mocking. Don't worry, it's not just you. It's all the other kids who just did the exact same thing. They're like, words on a screen? And you're wanting us to read them? Yes. So create 2. What I'm doing right now is babbling for a moment to buy you time, because soon you're reading them out loud and we get to judge you on them. And so your goal is to, now, worst case scenario, if you do a horrible job, that's fine. That's part of our learning is you might, so I said horrible job, and Greta, you raised your hand. Is there supposed to be like a connection between those 2 things? And you're like, horrible job, I volunteer. What's up, Schnip, besides me harassing you?
So just to clarify, what exactly are we going to be sharing?
One of your similes or one of your metaphors, you're going to be reading it out loud.
Okay, fabulous.
Okay. So, and there's every chance that you guys might completely mess this up, and that is fine. And I'm going to give you a moment because I'm going to show you another thing, and then we're going to get into your similes and metaphors. So, and the next couple moments here, be writing your similes and metaphors. We're going to come back and pick on some of you. Unfortunately, we're not going to get a chance to pick on all of you. I wish we had time, but some of you are definitely going to be the chosen ones, and it's definitely going to be some of you kids who are virtual, because I don't have enough kids in my room to pick on. So we're going to be picking on some of you guys at home just to keep it loose. Now, as you're continuing to think and looking around yourself, trying to come up with ideas, you're going to see below that, it says 3 arrow points. Did you just freak out and wave your hands at me? You're just going to relax. So it has the 3 arrow points on there. So these are the 3 arrow points you're also going to write down to try and make your life a little bit better. So this is how you make sure to not mess up similes and metaphors. Step 1, the 2 things being compared have to be nouns. This sounds easy, but you're going to screw it up. So you have to compare nouns, not adjectives, not verbs. You can't say the spider is scary, because that's comparing a spider to scary, and scary is an adjective. You can't say my brother is dumb, because dumb is an adjective. You have to say my brother is a dumb weasel. You're comparing brother to weasel. That would work better. You have to make sure you are comparing nouns when you do this. Mr. Broviak, I don't know what nouns are. Don't worry, that'll be part of our torturing we're going to get to. What's up, Nate? They are adjectives. I know, like a vacuum. Next up, the 2 nouns you're comparing cannot be the same thing. This seems obvious, but again, I've learned from past kids, this is the second most common mistake that is made. You cannot compare something to what it already is. As an example, you cannot compare a whale to a fish. That whale swims like a giant blue fish. A whale is a fish. No, Mr. Broviak, whales are mammals. I'm an English teacher, not a science teacher. They're both delicious. They're both fish. So you can't compare things to themselves. To go along, I had a kid the other day we were doing this one, who said, when I fell, the floor was as hard as the ground. The floor is the ground. Again, I know deep down you want to laugh at them, but don't worry, y'all are gonna be making these same mistakes in a moment and be like, I'm a dodo too. And like, yes, you are, is what makes you adorable. Or you cannot compare me to a teacher, which also happens quite a bit. Because again, I am a teacher. No, Mr. Broviak, teachers educate us. Technically, that's what the government thinks I'm doing. I just don't seem to be doing a very good job with it going off of that quiz. But the way it works is you'd have to compare me to something I'm not. You could not say, Mr. Broviak is an evil teacher. That's not a metaphor. You're just comparing me to something I am. You have to say, Mr. Broviak is like a giant scary clown, and that would work. No, it wouldn't, Mr. Broviak, because you are a clown. Ouch, that hurts. Again, that's my weekend hobbies, not what I get paid to do. Schnipple, I said clown, and you raised your hand. What's up, Schnipple?
Well, so just to clarify, I couldn't compare Christmas to the best day of the year because Christmas is the best day of the year.
Well, best
Correct.
is an adjective, so you'd be comparing it to a day. And does Christmas happen on a day? Then yes, you cannot compare Christmas to a day. Have you thought about comparing it to a holiday? Wait, no, that would not work either. Yeah, you can't compare it to a day. Now you could say
Okay.
Christmas is a bell ringing because it's lunchtime. That would work. It wouldn't make sense, but it would work. So hang on, let me pause this because we're going to come back and do more recording. Pause recording. Watch this. There we go. And recording again. Magic snappy fingers as we get back to our more fun things here. All right, let's continue. What a random question about me hurting random children. At least my room coming out. All right, so we were doing the comparing of the two nouns, and we were comparing the stuff there. Oh yes, and we were making fun of Schnipple and Christmas, and then the bell rang because she was trying to compare Christmas to a day. I remember now. All right, good stuff. And then third arrow point before we get to move on. Do not use the word looks anytime you do a simile or metaphor, because it makes your simile or metaphor weak like a globetrotter, and it will cause me to mock you. So you just have to pull it out. So if you did something like, that dog looks like an angry lion, that weakens it and makes it bad. It doesn't happen as often, but this is probably the third most common mistake we have to worry about with kids. So if you have that as in your simile or metaphor, just remove it. Pull out the word looks, add in a verb instead. And you have that dog is like an angry lion, and that comes across much stronger and better. It makes it non-globetrotter. What?
Are you trying both of ours?
Your simile and metaphor?
Yeah.
One or the other. But you don't know which one yet is. That's how the game is played. All right. But before we get to give you guys a chance to share it, let's go with, no, hang on, I'm trying to go through this. Let's go with there. The next thing is, we'll save that one. All right. So here's how this part of the game is getting ready to be played. Now that you've written your similes and metaphor examples, and you've figured out how similes and metaphors work correctly, we're going to introduce you to something that is called impact learning, where your learning impacts other kids in the classroom. And here's how impact learning is going to begin. So I'll start off with two kids who are in the room, and then we're going to start integrating those of you who are at home to give some idea. So as an example, Parker has volunteered to go first because he's a very brave soul. Parker is going to get a chance to read either his simile or metaphor, whichever you feel strongest about. Avery has volunteered to go second because she's the one that actually plays the game. So here's what Avery is going to do. Avery, as she listens, is going to tell me whether it is a simile or metaphor, then what two nouns are being compared, then why is he writing that thing. So he says, your hair is like a porcupine, you have to be able to tell me it's because it's pokey and sticking up or likes to eat berries or something like that. Here's how impact works. If she answers wrong, if Parker says your hair is like a porcupine and she says metaphor, then it impacts all of you. And I slap my podium really loud. It has a big loud leaning sound. If you know someone has done the wrong answer, what you have to do is is quickly cover your ears. That informs me that you think their answer is wrong and you are calling them a liar. And then I call on you instead. So as soon as she goes, that's a metaphor, you go, ah, and you cover your ears. And I go, oh, she's wrong. Sophia, what do you think it is? And so then as soon as you cover your ears, that means I get to call on you instead. Fun game? I agree. It'll be much more fun when we come up later this week when we play another round on Thursday when I have like 25 of you in the room and become much more scary. Right now, there's only 5 kids I get to torture in here, which is a little bit sad, but we'll do what we can. All right, Parker, you ready? Good, me too. And I'll repeat it out loud since I know they're really loud. But paper is as white as clouds. Simile, metaphor, or there is a third option called none of the above. And there's every chance Parker will just mess it completely up. And what he says is not a simile or a metaphor. It is just a random collection of words. So what did you say?
Metaphor.
He says metaphor. If you said, apparently every other human in here disagrees with you and they say not a metaphor. And you said, want to read it to her again? Read it to her again. Paper is as white as clouds. Why is it a simile? Because it uses as. What two nouns are being compared? Paper is as white as snow. Oh, clouds. How embarrassing. And what do they have in common? They're both nicely done. Now, Avery, you cannot read the same thing that was read to you. So if he read a simile, you have to read. Good job. Now let's see who was paying attention. Well, yes, but that requires kids to pay attention. Did you not remember us going over all the quiz stuff? Kids don't pay attention when I talk, especially because I'm getting ready to call on a kid at home, like Watkins. So Squidkins, thank you for volunteering, Squidkins. I'm having to wait. Squidkins, why have you not unmuted yourself? You're making me be mean to you. There's a kid right there. There you go, Squiddy. So Squiddy, I'll be repeating what she says, and you're going to play the same game before you get to read yours to the next person. We'll see if Squiddy was paying attention. If not, you're fine. You're just going to torture the kids who are here. So Avery, go for it. Mr. Broviak is the devil. Simile, metaphor, or none of the above?
Metaphor.
They agree. All right. Comparing what two nouns?
Mr. Broviak and the devil.
We agree again. The last part is, why are we comparing Mr. Broviak to the devil? Now, here's where it's tricky, because it was not actually in her sentence, so you're going to use this thing called imagination.
Because he's mean and scary.
Avery is happily nodding her head up and down, so apparently that would be a yes. So well done on that one. Although this scares me, let's see what happens. Squidkins, you're going to read yours for Schnipple.
So I have to do like the different.
The opposite of what was read to you, correct. Now hang on a second, because I've already said Schnipple's name, and she has not unmuted herself, so now I have to be mean to Schnipple. Making me torture kids. All right, hang on 1 second. Carson, why are you wanting to yell at me?
Oh, I was just volunteering.
I'll get to you, don't worry. And Elena, don't be a hater. It's none of the above because you can't compare the same thing. Ouch, I'm right here, Elena. All right, Squidkins, let's have you read yours to that Schnipple kid.
The pillow is as soft as a cloud.
The pillow is as soft as a cloud. Schnip?
That would be a simile.
Okay, they all seem to agree with you. Comparing what two nouns?
A pillow and a cloud.
And what do they have in common?
They are both soft.
Works for me. Nicely done. All right, Schnipple, you ready? We'll have you read yours out loud for, well, we'll throw Carson in there. Although I'll have to see Carson actually exists. And we'll see if Carson appears. He does appear. Now Carson just has to work on unmuting himself. You guys are horrible at this unmuting yourself thing. Why do you make me torture you? Keep going, Carson, into the little microphone. There you go, making me be mean to you. All right, Schnipple, go for it.
Okay. Greta is Christmas.
Greta is Christmas.
I think that would be a metaphor.
It is. It's just a really weird metaphor. They all covered their ears in here. I mean, it doesn't make sense, but I think that in its own way does make sense because it's Schnipple. So yes, that would work. All right, comparing what two things?
Greta and Christmas.
Now here's the fun part, Carson. Why are we comparing Greta to Christmas?
Because both of them are bad.
Wow. I mean, technically, Greta, you left that up to him by making it such a vague statement. So you can't be judgy on that one at all. He gets to make whatever comparison he wants. He could have said, we're glad it only happens once a year. There's any number of ways he could have gone with that one, but no, he went for that one. Well done, Carson. Carson, let's have you read yours for Nate.
Okay. I'll do a notebook. Wait, I screwed up. Okay. A notebook is like a running car.
A notebook is like a running car. Is this simile? I agree. Comparing what two nouns? A notebook and a running car. Here's our problem. Comparing two nouns. You threw an adjective in there. I know. That's how I feel also. Why would you do such a thing? And they all agreed with you. Let's try it again, Carson. So go for it, Nate. So what two things are being compared?
A notebook and a
Nicely done. Now here's the scary part. You have to try to get inside Carson's head. Why are we comparing a notebook to a running car? And so what Carson has brought up is the thing I had not put on the directions, but whatever simile or metaphor you come up with has to make sense. So that's one of our little things that goes along with it. You can't say, my foot is like a desk. And I go, ooh, why? And you go, I don't know. I just saw two objects. So whatever you're comparing, you're doing it to make a point about something. So hang on 1 second. Carson, why are you comparing a notebook to a running car? What could they have in common?
In my head, I was thinking of me like throwing a notebook and it being like a car moving. I don't know. It made a lot more sense in my head than it did out loud.
At least you admit that, and that is the first step. Nate's shaking his head saying, yes, obviously that was where his thought was going also. It's the only thing that makes sense. Touch your head to make him feel better. All right, we're all nodding our heads with you, Carson. Well done. All right, Carson, let's have you read yours for Savannah. Not Carson. Nate, sorry, I'm still staring at Carson thinking about the notebook and the car thing. All right, and I said Carson because of a running card issues. So Nate, we're going to have you read yours for Savannah. I said your name. Why have you not unmuted yourself? Goodness gracious, why do you guys keep making me need to?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Savannah. Kids are weird. All right, go for it, Nate.
Mr. Broviak is a sly mongoose.
Mr. Broviak is a sly mongoose. Simile, metaphor, or none of the above?
Is a simile.
They're covering their ears. Rush, why are you calling Savannah a liar? She said there's no like or as, so it can't be a simile. But you get to make your own decision, Savannah. Mr. Broviak is a sly mongoose.
Oh, I thought I heard like.
So what's your new answer?
Metaphor.
I agree with that one. Comparing what two nouns?
You and a mongoose.
Nicely done. And then what do we have in common, Savannah, between me and a sly mongoose?
You're sly. I don't know.
We'll roll with that one. Nicely done.
Okay.
I also accept the fact that we both like to eat snakes. Don't mute yourself yet, Savannah, because you have to read yours out loud for Parker. He's been waiting patiently for he getting his chance.
Okay.
Oh, because you're the end of the circle. That's how circles work, Parker. Don't try and rob Savannah of her chance to try and help educate you. All right, Savannah, Parker's excited. His eyes just say something different. It's okay.
Okay. Hold on.
I'm holding on.
I lost it.
It's right there.
I think I remember though.
Okay.
A lamp is as bright as the sun.
A lamp is as bright as a sun. We agree, apparently, although we're scared. All right. Comparing what two nouns? And what they have in common? Nicely done. All right. Don't worry. There's more impact learning and torturing coming. We just had to do the first round to get you guys used to it. So now, before we get to our next round of impact learning, scoot you down to where it says the bottom part where it says big picture. I'm going to show you guys your official homework I'm going to give you. We're going to come back to that one. Don't you worry. Don't give me scared eyes. All right. So here's how homework works. You're going to put all answers on a little piece of paper. And on my Canvas page, you're going to find a button or a thing on today's date that says big picture, which I'll show you here in just a moment. What you're going to do is you're going to be writing 3 similes and 3 metaphors about this picture. So you're going to go to today's date, whichever one it might be, find the one that says big picture. And when you click on that, it brings up a file that has this. You're going to find whichever picture you want. You pick one of those pictures, and you're going to write 3 similes and 3 metaphors about that one picture. So you will just pick the fish, or just pick the hallway goblins, or just pick the other fish, and you're going to pick whatever thing you want to go with, and you're going to write 3 similes, 3 metaphors about different things. You can compare like the fluffiness, or the black eyes, or the green tree, or the blue. So you just pick 3 similes, 3 metaphors, all about that one picture. Due Wednesday. That's giant letters. Yes. Uh-huh. No. So if you're doing the picture of me, you can once again compare me to a bald clown, even though there's no bald clown. There is a bald clown. Ouch, that hurt. And so again, you don't have to compare 2 things in there. You have to list one of the things has to be in there, and you can compare it to whatever works for you. You can say my shirt is as white as scary old man hair, and that would be fine too. All right. Why do you guys all have questions now? That's so straightforward. Squidkins. I'm not done with it yet.
Are we like submitting it or just going to show it to you in class on Wednesday?
You're going to show it to me in class.
Okay.
Those of you who are virtual, you're going to be holding it up to the screen so I can look at it. Those of you who are here, I'm going to be looking at it. And then those of you who are gray are going to be sending it to me in an email or holding it up and stuff like that. We're going to try a different way of doing an assignment. I decided to be creative. Schnipple.
So we choose one photo and we write 3 similes and 3 metaphors about that one photo.
So far, you're repeating everything that's in the directions.
So that's it.
That's it.
I'm a little confused. Okay.
I don't know how else to help you, Boo. I wish you the best of luck on that one. We'll practice some here in a moment to try and grab some other pictures, and we'll do like some practice rounds. We'll see if that helps you out. But before we get to practice rounds, let's do is a little bit of torturing the children. Correct, Maddie, you're not submitting it. You just have to have it written down, and you're going to physically show it to me on the screen. So I want to make sure you guys know what these 2 things are because I'm using references to them in a moment. You guys know what this is? Mime. So that's the white face, and they can't talk, and like the grabbing on, that's what a mime is. And then you guys know what these are? Sardines. And so I'm going to make a reference to sardines, but again, I want to make sure you guys know what actual sardines look like. So those are what sardines are. So here's what we're going to do for our next round of impact learning. I told you we're not done with impact learning. It's going to keep impacting you and impacting you. It doesn't even stop. So here I get to pick on those of you who are at home again. And because I only have like 2 kids in the room with me, so I have to pick on a lot more of you guys at home. I'm not good at counting. Did you really have to move your finger to count both of those kids? All right. I'm not good at counting. Stop trying to math shame me. So instead of us randomly saying them out loud, for those of you who are visual learners, I have written down some random ones that are similes, metaphors, or none of the above. And we're going to have you do the same game we just played. But as an example, I will pick on Maddie. And Maddie is going to get a chance to do the first one. Now, some of you might be slightly, good job, Maddie. You unmuted yourself without me having to torture you. Some of you who are brave, you'll see the fact that the next line is already there in case you're wanting to cheat and try to learn ahead. And that way you can go ahead and prepare yourself so you can flex on the other kids. But then the one after that's not there. So we get to go brave child, not as brave child, brave child, not as brave child, to try and help mix things up a little bit. All right, Maddie, you ready? No, me either. Let's see what happens. That ridiculous man has a mustache like a dead squirrel. Step 1, simile, metaphor, or none of the above, because I will put a few random ones in there that are nothing at all, just to see who's paying attention.
It's a simile.
Simile? All right, they agree with you. What 2 nouns are being compared?
Mustache and dead squirrel.
Mustache and dead squirrel. Oh, I have Avery. Why'd you cover your ears and call her a liar? She said you can't have an adjective, Maddie. She called you a horrible person. She said, why would you put an adjective in there when we could only do nouns?
Mustache and squirrel then.
Oh, okay, I would agree. And then why are we comparing mustache and squirrel?
Because they're both fluffy.
Nicely done. Go you. All right, so now you can go back to hiding for a second. And then our next one, if we have no ball. Sure, Parker. We have his ears are open car doors. Metaphor? Why are you?
Wait, no, I'm not covering my ears. Why am I covering my ears?
I don't know, but
The
Sophia?
temptation. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, that's what I thought. Never mind.
All right, they don't seem to be covering ears either. I would agree, that is a metaphor. Comparing what 2 nouns?
That's not wrong.
It is wrong.
No, it's not.
Oh, it still is. You saying it doesn't make it a thing. But you were very convincing. One of those is an adjective. What kind of door? There you go. So that makes car an adjective. So what 2 nouns are being compared? Nicely done. Now what do the ears and doors have in common? Close. Why would we be comparing a person's ears to doors that are open on the side of a car? I like you trying to pick up on my hints. You guys know why I would say someone's ears look like open car doors?
If they stick out or they're.
There you go, because they stick out like car doors. They stick out to the sides. And so, well, or a monkey if you want to go with. I was going for the open car door. I hadn't realized you guys were unfamiliar with cars. I apologize. That's not an issue. Ooh, then the next one's not on there. So now we get to go to a brave person. Hang on. I'm going to make it be an online kid. So we get to pick on one of them. All right, Elena, we'll let you be the next one. Then we'll get to pick on another one from there. All right, Elena, ready? The man's fingers are long yellow bananas.
That's a metaphor.
Metaphor? Okay, they agree with you. Comparing what 2 nouns?
Fingers and bananas.
Okay, they agree with you. Why are we comparing fingers to bananas?
Because the man's fingers are long and yellow, like a
Works for me.
banana.
Good, Elena. Very brave of you. Go you. Stuart, are you volunteering for the next one? Go for it, Stuart. His elbows are very large.
None of the above.
Are you sure?
They aren't comparing anything.
Right there, though. You're correct. I was just seeing if you back down. Good job, Kyla. Sometimes if I challenge a kid, they freak out. They just randomly say a thing. So I was just seeing how brave you were. You are correct because elbows are a noun. Ooh, large is not a noun. You know what large is? The answer is no. Apparently, no, we don't know. Large is an adjective. Apparently not very loud. The kids yelling verbs and prepositions were much louder than you. I'm well aware of that. It was all right. You are correct. So before we get to our next one, volunteer before you get to see it. Or do I get to go to kid? All right, Rye. Ready? The funny teacher is surrounded by children everywhere. Are you asking me? That's not confidence. None of the above. Well, are you covering your ears, Parker? That's not a very confident answer either. Then, Avery, are you covering your? Are you just grabbing your head in fear? I need confidence. What kind? Which one? Parker's right? No. Rye's right? So you're. Are you covering your own ears, Rye? You can't be just in case. You're the one answering. You get to choose. So what is your final answer? None of the above. I'm seeing if any of the kids at home are saying otherwise. And you're correct. None of the above. I did two none of the aboves in a row to see if I can get any of you guys to buckle. It almost worked. Where is your strength and confidence? Let's pick on random kid at home to go to our next one. Steiner, let's pick on you next. All right. I saw you, Mac. Well, don't worry. With your adorable sticker head, I'm not going to ignore you forever. All right, Steiner. The evil teacher likes strawberry mint ice cream. The evil teacher likes strawberry mint ice cream.
Neither.
Was that confidence?
Yes.
So then say it with confidence.
Neither.
Neither. I'm sorry. I'm not yelling at you this time. Parker's giving me a look. So I was looking at Parker on that one. It's okay. Slow down, Steiner. You're coming at me there. I think Parker's worried that you did not see that word in it, the likes. He's worried that you weren't paying attention. And that was freaking Parker out. Are you still sticking with it?
Yes.
That's because you're confident and correct, Steiner. Good job. That is neither one, because it's not comparing anything. It is just telling you something that the teacher enjoys. If we were comparing the teacher to ice cream, yes, I would agree. We are not comparing the teacher to ice cream, so you're out of luck. Good job, Steiner. Way to be strong on that one. A little proud of you there. All right, Stickerhead, you ready? You're my next one up. I see you seem so excited on that one, except for the part where you forgot to unmute yourself, and they're gonna make me be mean to you. I mean, why would you do so? Okay, there. Hi, Macnell.
Hello.
When he falls down the stairs, his arms are like a tornado.
That is a simile.
Sorry, I'm watching kids freak out. Hang on. You guys don't have to suffer quite as much of the impact learning because you can turn down the volume, but live version of me, there's no volume. They're in here like trying to scroll the volume wheel and I just get louder. So they're all freaking out. So give them a second. You said it was a metaphor, correct?
Simile.
Weird to change your answer. Everyone, I found there's ways I can mess with kids' heads that bring me happiness. Simile, I would agree. Good job, Macnell. But you're not done yet. What two nouns are being compared? You thought you could mute yourself like you were free. You're not even close to free yet. Macnell, what two nouns?
His arms and a tornado.
You said his arms and tornado, correct?
Arms and a tornado.
You seem confident. All right. Are you still covering your ears? She said arms and tornado. She did it first, and then she backed down. Macnell, why'd you mute yourself? You're not done yet, Macnell. There's so much yelling. I said, thank you, Macnell. You are correct. It is arms and tornado. But the last thing you have to do, Macnell, why are we comparing his arms to a tornado? What do they have in common?
When he falls down the stairs, they spin. They both spin.
Good job, Macnell. Now you can go back to hiding. You have succeeded. All right. We have a volunteer for our next one that we can't see yet. And to the. All right, Rush. We'll get this one to you. Ready? Oh, that's my last easy one. You volunteered going into hard mode. So proud of you. Nicely done. So now we're going into hard mode, which Rush is super excited that she just volunteered. You can't cover your ears already. She might get it right. What a complete lack of faith. All right. And here we go. My father is a man with hair like a rainbow. Children think his nose is a large red tomato. There may be one, two, or none in that stanza. You see one, two, or none. She can't see you, Kyla, even though you're trying to help her out. You just have to send those happy thoughts to get back. Bad child. You can't cheat off of her. What's that, Rush? I couldn't hear you. One or two, simile or metaphor. One simile metaphor, two simile metaphor, or no similes and metaphors at all.
Well, I know there's one simile,
Okay.
but
So we'll start there. What is the simile you think you see?
my father is a man with hair like a rainbow.
All right, you're saying that's a simile.
Yeah.
I would agree. Good job. All right, comparing what two nouns?
Hair and rainbow.
Good job again. Why are we comparing his hair to a rainbow?
Because he dyed it all the colors of the rainbow.
Excellent. Go you. All right. So then to the Elena, I'm going to give them a moment to breathe for a second since you're going to ask a question and they've all been holding their breath, trying not to pass out. What's up, Elena?
I wasn't going to ask a question. I was going to volunteer.
Elena, then hang on. Don't you unmute yourself. We'll let you save Rush because I think she can use it right now. Elena,
Okay.
so she says she definitely felt sure that there was a simile in it, but she doesn't know if there's anything else in the rest of the stanza. So we'll let you step in and try to save. Do you think there's anything else in that second line, or is there nothing at all?
There's a metaphor.
She says metaphor. And Parker says no. Parker, you want to give her a reason why? He says it's not comparing anything.
Yeah, it is. It's comparing his nose and a tomato.
So Elena, you get to make your choice. What do you want to go with?
I'm sticking with what I said earlier.
Which is?
Metaphor.
Is correct. Good job. It is a metaphor. Now, given is probably not the strongest metaphor, but it's a poem. Is my daughter down there again? What it is at this time? Is it? Hip? No. Hang on 1 second. Children. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Okay. I apologize. I had my own dead child to deal with. Elena, we're back to you. What did you say? What two things are being compared?
Nose and tomato.
It was a metaphor. Nose and tomato, and what they have in common, they're both?
Large and red.
Next one, go you. All right. Whew. Shaking out. Apparently, that was much more nerve-wracking than we thought.
That is so nerve-wracking. When you're the one that's relying on the whole class.
Right? Impact learning. Your choice impacts everybody. What's up, Ryan?
I just want to.
Well, you gotta take off your headphones. That means you're covering your ears. All right. We'll do Rye, and then I have to pick on a kid there next. Let's go. Ready, Rye? His feet seem to be small, flat-bottomed boats. They are large in size. lacking the ability to float. 1, 2, or none? Are you asking me? I need confidence. He says 1.
Let me look at this.
And are you saying you disagree? There's not 1? So you're saying 2 or 0?
Sure.
Well, which one is it? You're the one covering your ears. Well, then you just have to know the answer. Parker, you're saying not 1? You're saying 0. 0?
Yep.
They're saying 0. All right. If you cover your ears and you're wrong, I have to charge you a point. Otherwise, kids just cover their ears nonstop. So you have to pick which one are you going with? 1 and if you guys lost the point, he's right. There is 1 in there. Well, Rye is getting ready to explain it to you. Rye, where's the fun you found?
They are large in size. Having the ability to float.
So is that a simile or a metaphor?
Metaphor. No.
Yeah, they say no. That's not it at all.
That is not a metaphor.
That is not a metaphor, apparently.
No.
Similar metaphor? We're struggling here. Give us just a moment. We're trying to work our way through this one.
I'm going to say it's my original answer.
Which is?
They are large in size, lacking the ability to float, being a metaphor. No.
So, Rush, you're saying no?
I'm saying no.
So I will tell you there is 1 in there. But
There's none.
Where?
There's no comparing. No comparing going on. I can help him. Or stanza. His feet seem to be small, flat bottom boats.
comparing?
Comparing nothing. Feet and boats.
Comparing his feet to boats. Yes, no.
Actually, there's like nothing there.
Again, we're struggling here figuring out that line where it says his feet seem to be small bottom boats. That would be a metaphor. Comparing what 2 things. So to be a metaphor, we have to say one thing is the other. Are we saying his feet are flat bottom boats?
No, because there's no seeming. There is no.
So the word seem is what's throwing you off.
Yeah.
So if it said are, you'd be okay with it? All right, I'll accept that as an argument. All right.
Actually, the definition of that will just says not using.
I will accept your guys' argument and I will not attack you on that.
Well, this
You're
boy
sure?
just thinks that he is not confident enough to say is and are.
All right. I mean, I'm not going to knock you on that one.
Feet right. Okay.
Sorry, we got a little worked up about our use of the word seem and similes and metaphors. So next up, let's pick on a kid at home. We'll come back to the people here. If I have any brave kids at home, or I get to randomly pick one of you. Apparently, you've already gone. I have to pick a new random child. All right, a new random child it is. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Oh, no. Talbot. Thank you for volunteering. All right. Ready, Talbot? Of course not. We'll see what happens anyway. His face is painted with colors so bright, or sometimes it is snow, a pale, eerie white. 1, 2, or 0?
0.
Says 0. Sorry, Nate just buzzed you. So Nate says no. What number do you say, Nate?
1.
Nate says 1. But Owen, you get to make your own choice. Now hang on. Nate, you want to tell him where you think it is?
Yes.
All right, where do you think it is? He says the line, sometimes it is snow, he thinks is something.
No.
I can tell him why it's not.
Okay, why is it not?
It's describing snow. It's not comparing snow. It's describing snow as a pale, eerie white, not comparing it to a pale, eerie white.
All right, so then what answer do you want to go with?
0.
Says 0. Are you covering your ears, Ryan?
I'm confident about it.
That
Or Owen. I don't know who it was.
I don't either.
Okay,
It's her-
started-
But we'll come back and torture you guys again on Wednesday. Owen, don't forget to remind me, we get to pick on you for this particular line again. But for now, you have homework. Go run and hide. I enjoyed introducing you to impact learning. What a happy day. Who would have thought learning could be stressful?
I really like it.
Yes.
Mr. Broviak. Mr. Broviak,
Yes, child. What's up?
do you want me to bring you a matching